Hey, Jenny, you got in. You got in. Jenny, did you get a Zoom invite like an hour ago? Did you did you guys happen to get an email about an hour ago with the link in it?
See, I just got my panelist email about 11 minutes ago, it looks like.
Okay.
I got something.
You did.
Yeah, came in about 5 minutes ago and it
Okay.
said something like, here's your VPN link or something like that. But it didn't mention McTac, but I was like, well, it's the same time of day. I'm going to try it.
I'm not sure what happened. I'll have to go in and look at the webinar setup and
it's going to remain a Zoom meeting, right? Not a Teams meeting.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'll just
Person calling in at 240-4520. Can you identify yourself?
Hi, this is Mike Painter. I'm sorry, my computer is having a seizure, so.
That's okay. Just wanted to make sure it was you, Mike.
Yeah, I'm gonna try. It's coming back up. I'm gonna try to get on the actual World Wide Web thing instead of my iPhone. But
Okay.
till then, I'll just be listening in and singing your praises.
All right.
Well, it's good to hear you, if not to see you, but I guess I was spoiled for seeing you the other day at the Marmar. All right. Let's see. It is about 2:01 right now. I think we've got everyone we were expecting to have. So without objection, I'll go ahead and just call the meeting to order, if that works.
I know that Ginny is trying to get in. She's having some issues too.
Oh, I saw her a moment ago.
Yeah, I did too.
Oh, I think she's in the meeting. Ginny, can you hear us at this point?
She might be having trouble with her audio.
Yeah, that's looking like what the thing is, since it's not seeming like she's muted. Just not actually getting any sound out of her. So, huh. And I know Jake said that he had an emergency pop up, but is it? Yeah. Let's see. In any event, we've got 1, 2, 3. And just to be clear, we weren't expecting Mr. Carlino today, were we?
No, we weren't. That's correct.
Okay. Wonderful. And looking forward to having him here here in February.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, looks like Ginny's back. Ginny, are you on audio at this point? Nothing yet. I don't know if it might be useful to try attending the meeting by phone. I might just, let's see. Well, until we get Ginny, I don't think we can technically review and approve the minutes, but in the meantime, I wouldn't mind bringing us forward into public comment. Mr. Painter, anything from the public?
I don't have anything, Devin. Thank you very much.
Good to hear it. No news is good news. Let's see, in that case, Joel Baird, are you ready to give us our favorite monthly update on everything you guys are doing over there?
Yes. Can you hear me all right? I'm using a different microphone, last used by children.
You are coming through loud and clear.
Oh, good.
None of the children's spittle has entered the microphone.
I shall not get closer than this then, because golly, they were pretty active. So here's what we've been doing since we met last. For the city, we did go to the press conference on the authorized camping site on Clark Fork Lane. And Neil made a good 6-minute program out of that. Oh, sorry. There's an important question coming. Oh, ask Neil. He'll show you. The plant lady can't find the light switch. So yes, Neil went out and made a good 5-minute coverage of the press conference on the authorized camping site on the Clark Fork Lane. We've been running that numerous times. On the county level, we continue the Missoula Public Library series, Tiny Tales and Story Time. And because it was December, we also got a pop-up caroling at the library in early December. We are tracking activity in the maker space that's down here. The last workshop we did for them was on laser engraving in the maker space. And we're continuing with the cooking series. The last one was Cooking at the Library with All Nations Health Center. And every week, Pam Carlton, who's with Youth Services, and I, we're making an electronic calendar for the building because there's Spectrum, because there's Families First and the library. And in MCAT, there's on average, even in our Omicron period, about 12 different events. So we're making an electronic bulletin board where we talk briefly about each of the programs if we can, or just, talk our way through the programs. And Lori's been very good about putting that up 3 and 4 times a day. It's meant to catch people on the cable channel that are flipping through the channels. So we keep it heavy on the local logos so they see Missoula, and hopefully they'll stop, and get an idea of what all is going on down here, because it's a tremendous amount, actually. Ron continues with county commissioners doing the informational program Tip of the Spear. And we've done the Domestic Violence Professional Award Ceremony, recognizing community members who've been dedicated to ending domestic violence and helping victims. That was in the Sophie Moise room. And we continue to put those graphics that are coming out of the health department on the 2 channels, and that's vaccination encouragement. And they're working really hard on it. And we also have some from the National Institute of Health. I'm debating whether or not we'll do a show on those home tests. So a lot of people may have gotten used to using home tests. I know when I traveled for the Christmas, I got tested 14 times because of seeing this one or that one, or so on and so forth. For University of Montana, we've got several panel discussions for the Museum of Art and Culture. For Spectrum, they have a new exhibit down here called Life on the Edge, which explores life in extreme conditions. And then it kind of gets into that likening the extreme conditions to life in space as well. Mansfield Center continues to share their Zoom presentations with us. It looks like the last one was Resuscitating the American Republic. Sounds like it's worth doing. I don't know why I got UM in there. I got a little stray UM. Oh, I know why. So at the Zootown, at Zach, the Zach, Zootown Arts Community Center, the UM Zootown Cabaret did a performance out of the School of Music that we live streamed for them. MCPS Board of Trustees, and I'm going to make this observation really briefly, because in parentheses I put conflict cells. So most of you may know there was like a less than 5-minute board meeting because one member of the Board of Trustees did not put on, would refuse to put on a mask. So there was a lot of discussion about that until they decided to adjourn the 5-minute meeting. And this is what I want to say about that. When I last looked on Friday, that meeting had 3,300 views and it was shared 28 times and there were 87 comments. So if MCAT, this is a point I wanted to make about that. If MCAT were a business and we sell advertising, right? Doesn't it seem like it's in our best interest to exploit the conflict that exists in the community right now? Because that way we could prove we've got more views. Like if we had an ad up during that thing, it would be like the Super Bowl of 2021 or what have you. So that's just me saying that, but it is partially true that the media is living off the conflict, is selling, on violence, whether it's ideological or physical. So we're doing sports, volleyball games, we're doing sports, basketball games, and we did a half dozen holiday concert series for the county public schools. And then in the community realm, there's a group called For History Buffs, and they have a program every month. And the one for January, it's coming up this week. It's called like the History of the Universe, but mostly they do the history of around here. For Arts Missoula, we did do a live stream of Spotlight, which is their high school vocal competition. It's sort of the Missoula Got Talent, and it was part of a first night. And then we were hosts along with the building, for first night in the afternoon towards the evening, though the library took first night all the way to midnight. What else? Oh, we're continuing our series of Poets of Montana interviews for the Humanities Montana. The poet laureate of this year, Mark Gibbons, lives here in Missoula. So I've been still working with Kim Anderson at Humanities Montana, and Mark has been working with himself and with Ron to do a series of interviews with Missoula poets, and then he's going to move on via Zoom. So Families First is working with us on a suicide prevention series called Montana Happiness Project. That's still ongoing. We just finished the Missoula City Club legal weed rolling out recreational marijuana, but I don't think we met in December. So we did do a day in the life of a student athlete. And in December, we did with Gary Gillette, the Missoula City Band, Tuba Christmas, and he did it in Bonner Park. He didn't do it outside. Montana World Affairs Council had a program on our Afghan allies in the Americas. We did the Homeless Persons Memorial, and that's up to 2,000 views on Facebook. So it's not just conflict cells. I just want to point out there's a balance, I guess, too. Soft Landing and Zach, we did We Are Congo. That was a Congolese art and fashion show held at the Zach. And Molly Stockdale has asked us to continue with our Saturday storytelling at Travelers Rest State Park, and that will continue through March of 2022. KBGA's Play It Forward, they had volume 5, which was a local band, Pale People, and that was a benefit for the UM Food Bank. Hope Rescue Mission is a partner, I think, with the United Way and the city and county on some of the temporary safe outdoor space and so on. So they asked us to do a 3-minute treatment called Faces of Homelessness to sort of indicate to general population, the homeless people aren't there electively, and that it's not all, hobos with bindle stiffs or whatever people like to pretend they are. Vaccination encouragement public service announcements from the National Ad Council. Since they rolled out, the eligibility for the younger group, we've been running from National Ad Council, targeted information about that. And then along those Omicron lines, this Thursday, Spectrum is holding Communities for Immunities workshop here on the 4th floor of the library. And so their intention there is to try to combat misinformation about vaccines, and particularly because the vaccines are available to a younger group. They're also working with Families First in the library. Traditionally has had a very strong youth services department and a lot of visits from families and with young children. So they're putting it right there. So I'm really glad about that. And I told them I'd try to make like a 2 or 3 minute news program about some of their efforts in that regard. And what's nice about their efforts, it's not just media, they're bringing people into the space and, talking to them in person. Lord love them, but that's what they're doing, to try to get some of this through the recalcitrant population and the scared population. They have young children, they're not sure what to do. And, the false narrative about autism and vaccination, is very related to the stages of the young child. So they're working really hard against some of that pseudoscience of the early 90s that spawned all that. So that's where we're up to. I'm ready to hear more.
Well, thank you for that, Joel. I've got a couple things to remark on from all that, but does anyone have any comment or discussion on some of the things that Joel just talked about?
Joel, have you heard from alumni? Are they doing a community week?
Oh, yes, they are. Took a little while. Jeff Badenoch. This is Jeff behind me, and this is alumni. Their arm, it was being twisted. I don't know why. I mean, I think to a degree, there's going to have to be some rebuilding, of bond between MCAT and because it's been so long that people have fallen out of the habit. They just don't think of stuff where they asked us to do stuff traditionally before. There's been turnover, just all kinds of to-doing. We're also going to do, coming out of University of Montana, I think this looks really interesting, a program called Reimagining Death that's coming out of the Institute of Humanities at UM. And that's going to be here on the 4th floor in the Cooper Room. So that took a little bit of doing, but they're letting us carry that series, and it's going to be all through June. So I think there's 8 or 9 really good presentations and a couple of films in that lineup.
Yeah, I think it might start this week.
Tonight
Tonight
is the first one. Tonight is the
Ashby.
first one. Yeah, that guy. I read up on the guy, and it's like, this guy who's doing the Reimagining Death is a professor of medieval literature and culture. So he's coming at the very interesting intersection of Omicron and the plague. So he really read up, obviously for years and years on disease and culture and the madness of crowds and stuff like that. But this seems very extremely humanistic. And there's a lot of great people involved. Katie Kane is going to do stuff on Irish grief culture and so on and so forth. So yeah, if anyone attending the program now, if you go to missoulapubliclibrary.org, they've got a list of all of the programs that are part of Reimagining Death.
Great.
Let's see. I had a couple things over in community. I did get to attend the Arts Missoula Spotlight on first night, and that was it was great. It was standing room only by the time that I got there, and I bought tickets in advance, which was fun. It's great competition. Trying to think if there's anything else. I'm of course I'm curious, especially because I did end up tuning into that very short MCPS Board of Trustees meeting with the 3,300 views. Joel, like for comparison, like what else is like, been particularly like well viewed? Like how does that compare to like other things that we've had on MCAT?
Oh, I see. Well, I would say probably the leading in terms of viewership, the leading element is when we do MCPS Sports on Facebook. So that typically a basketball game, volleyball game, they'll average between 1,000 and 3,000 views. So that MCPS meeting was relatively high. If there's but there have been maybe 4,000 or 5,000 views in the first year of pandemic, when the discussion of masking was coming up. Whenever that happened, there could be between 4,000 and 5,000 views. But I would say the mainstay of a lot of views is high school sports.
Good to know. Well, I for one would never want to be involved in such a conflict-oriented meeting. I like my nice, safe little MCTAC. I'd never join the Board of Trustees.
Right.
Fantastic. With that in mind, moving on forward, does anyone have anything coming up worth throwing at MCAT's way? Well, nothing on my end. Moving forward into new business. We're no longer joined by Councilperson Sandra Vasica. She's been swapped out for our new alderperson, Daniel Carlino. And his work schedule does not align with the current MCTAC meeting time. The city has asked us to discuss moving our meeting date. Heidi, I believe you had some options for us.
I do. Basically, the easiest option would be to move it the third Monday of the month, which is today, to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. If that does not sound like a good idea to everybody, we could also look at the second Monday of the month at 4 o'clock. Basically, he works most weekdays until 3:30. So I did check those two options out, and they are available on the encoder. So that's a good thing. So yeah, it's kind of up to you all. And if you want me to repeat those, I sure can.
I might have you repeat that. I'll just note now that Allison has joined us. I just want to give her a chance to say hi. How you doing?
Sure. So we are going to be joined by a new council person named Daniel Carlino, who works till 3:30 most days. So the option would be to move this meeting, keep the third Monday of the month where we are, but move it to 4 o'clock. And I wondered, and if that, I can accommodate those. Okay. Actually, Tyler just responded that she can do either one. So yeah, it's kind of up to all of you if it works on the third Monday or the second Monday at 4 o'clock.
I can do either of those, Heidi.
Okay, sounds good.
I can too.
I think poor Ginny is still trying to join us. I did check her calendar. It looked like both worked for her as well.
Heidi, this is Lisa. I can do either of those as well.
Yay.
This is Allison, and I could do those too.
Okay. Would it be easier just to keep it the third Monday, basically today, and just bump it to 4? Is everybody all right with that?
Yeah, I think yeah, that would work. That would work for me, and sounds like it works for everyone. So All right, so be it. From now on, MCTAC will meet the third Monday of every month at 4 p.m. With the exception of next month on account of the holiday meeting that I think we moved around. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, so just to be clear, because of that, now this, I believe, makes it so that our next meeting would be February 14th at 4 p.m. And I just want to check in with everyone to make sure that that time works for all of you.
What time was that, Devin?
That'll
For
be 4
February.
p.m. on February 14th.
I think I can do that. Hold on.
Yeah, I have another meeting that conflicts with that, so I would just be late, but
I can make that work.
Oh. And in the event that you're late, Allison, I can have Joel stall for time. I think he can juggle. He just hasn't been showing it off yet.
I did get a balance board from Santa. I could bring that in. I can stay in one position for like 20 seconds tops.
Make it about 20 minutes. I want to make sure that we've got time to accommodate for a later start. So keep working on that for the next month. Wonderful. And then the other thing that we'll need to do in new business for February is we do need to re-elect a chair and vice chair for MCTAC. For my part, anyone that wants to go for it, by all means, I'm happy to continue chairing the meetings. But if there's anyone who's got a mind for it, probably worth thinking that over, and feel free to reach out. I believe you all have my email, and yeah, if anyone has thoughts on that, happy to hear them now. Fantastic. Oh, and Lisa, just to be sure, did February 14th at 4 p.m. work for you?
Yep, that's fine. Thanks.
Oh, lovely. Fantastic. All right. Let's see. We went through the programming schedule. And Allison, did you have any questions on that or any concerns in that regard?
no, I don't think so. I was just able to glance at it really quickly earlier, but
No, sounds good. And given that I think now at this point we have quorum, I might move us back to the held agenda item for reviewing and approving the minutes from December. Did everyone get a chance to look those over? All right, in that case, I'll entertain a motion to approve the December minutes.
This is Lisa. I'd make that motion.
So moved by Lisa. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Jen. I'll just go ahead and have us vote by, I'll call it unanimous consent without discussion or objection. Well, without objection, the minutes are approved. Fantastic. Sorry, that's a little trick that I learned from some other parliamentarians, which I talk to way too often. Wonderful. I believe that gets us through our agenda. In February, we'll be meeting at 4 p.m. on the 14th. We'll be joined by one of our new council folks, and I'm excited to get him to meet all of you. He's a younger guy, and I'm kind of excited to have him on this commission, particularly just because you know, having folks from the university and from the county and the school district and the city and other sectors of town will be a good learning experience for him, I'm hoping. So does anyone have anything else for the good of the order while we're all here?
Oh, you know, since we're early, I might just be discursive in telling you, you know, that we've been talking to Missoula Community Radio about sharing our space here at the library. It may happen. So there's hoops because they transmit. They can transmit a certain distance, you know, within the valley. And apropos of the MCTAC, I asked them, would they consider running, you know, like a city county public service announcement on the radio They said they would. Would they be open to running, some meetings? And they said they would too. So it's not a tremendous amount of coverage, but when you look at the transparency of government issue that can be such a hurdle, it's terrific. Cities like move to Zoom, and county, has Teams, but you need a high-speed internet deal to access this, and for the poorest of the poor, it's just too much money. I think I pay $75 a month or something at my house to have internet. So anyway, for a $5 or $10 radio, there'll be some opportunity to bring some government message should it all work out. But it's not a done deal. Like I said, community radio has some hurdles, and the biggest one is moving their transmitter. They're 2 blocks away from us in the Union Hall on their rooftop, but it's an old building, and they've already got it there. Whereas moving into this fancy new building, there's a lot of concern about the rooftop and the wiring, so on and so forth. So anyway, there's a tidbit for you. Community radio and MCAT could be just like that.
Well, that would be exciting. Thanks for the update on that. On the subject of internet affordability, I'm curious if anyone has any updates on TDS Metrocom and how that's going. Joel, maybe you've got insight on that.
Yeah, just a teeny bit. There was I was traveling right on the day the last negotiation was taking place. So that's all I know, that it seemed like they're really close. And I know you just aren't supposed to talk about it because it's a negotiation. But I haven't heard any eruptions from either Vesuvius, City of Missoula, or TDS. Like there's a collegial path that they are carefully treading to the beach, I suppose, in flip-flops, and the best of friends.
Vamos a jugar por la playa.
Right.
Fantastic. Well, unless anything has anything else in that case, I will entertain a motion to adjourn my favorite meeting of the month.
Actually, could I ask you all a quick question? Since we're having Zoom linking issues, did anyone get an email from Marty with the link in it right before the meeting, like an hour ago?
I did.
Okay, I didn't get one, and I don't think Ginny did. So thank you for that. That's all I wanted to bug you about. So have a good week. Tyler didn't get one either. Okay.
This is Lisa. I did get one.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to see what's up and why it's not working.
Yeah, and I got my link about 11 or so minutes before the meeting, which was interesting. So
And
yeah,
we pushed it out right before the meeting because I was afraid something had happened.
Mhm.
So that might have been the one you saw, Nevin.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and Heidi, I did get one around 14 minutes before the meeting, and it came from Missoula VPM admin.
Okay. Yeah, that
And
was
then-
Megan.
And then it listed, you were invited to a Zoom webinar, and it lists a bunch of dates that right through the year. And February 14th was listed at 3:30 p.m. Otherwise, all the other dates were listed at 2 p.m. with an invitation to download and import an iCalendar ICS file to your calendar system. And then in fine print, well below, it said topic, Missoula Civic Television Advisory Committee.
Okay. Thank you for that, Joel.
You know that.
Figure out what's going on.
Well, I'm sure we'll get to the bottom of this. Wonderful. Well, unless anyone has anything else, so be it. And through my supreme executive authority, I hereby adjourn the Missoula Civic Television Advisory Commission meeting for January. Thank you all for being